Welcome to I The Show, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. I'm Brady.
And I'm Katie.
And today is an unnecessarily long reminder about the importance of washing behind your ears.
Hygiene. Actually, we had a specific topic that we were going to talk about, but an epic rant happened instead, and now it's time for I Digress.
We were talking about, like, how everything in 2020 just seemed to, like, converge into this big shit pot and blow up and pretty much cover everything in shit. So, kind of like, so what are your thoughts here, Katie? Like,
well, you know, you were talking about how it sort of seems forced, and I think that a lot of these movements...
Hey, you want to scoot closer to the microphone a little bit?
I think a lot of these movements have been fomenting, bubbling like a cauldron this whole time, and I think that the supporters of them have always been there. I just think with COVID, it gave this angst. There's an angst, and there's a worry and an anxiety, and when you have that, people can take advantage of it. And if your goal is to create chaos, what better time to do it?
And there's definitely a lot of chaos, but was the angst of COVID... like, was that artificial? Because, I mean...
I don't know.
Like, okay, look at the numbers, okay? And this is highly disputed by both whatever sides of the political spectrum, but the numbers say that the influenza we have every single year seems to be worse, whether it was through, like, comorbidity or whatever you were talking about earlier.
Yes, we can talk about
I mean, it doesn't matter. Either way, technically, no matter how you report the numbers, the flu is worse every year, okay? So this pandemic happens, and pandemic just means it's crossed oceans, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
all
not
over
like
the
this.
places.
It's not like this apocalyptic movie scenario like 2012.
It's a localized.
It's not the end of the damn
it's not
world.
localized.
It's just a virus that crossed the sea.
Yes.
Okay. And it's killing a pretty small percentage of people. And I'm not gonna sit here and discredit those deaths. Every loss from COVID, any sickness in general from COVID is a tragedy. But you know, essentially it couldn't be avoided, and it's happening. But the hype around it just seems to be completely fabricated by at least the American news media.
Well, and it's
like, and I don't mean to sound like Alex Jones here, but like, Jesus Christ, you got the news just hyping everybody up about this whole thing. You know?
I would like to know, what is it specifically about COVID that has everyone so terrified? Like, I've been thinking about this from the beginning, because in the beginning, it's scary. You've got a new pathogen. It's killing people, supposedly. And
I understand a bit of fear about that.
Yeah, but then now that time has gone on, we have data, we have numbers, we have new ways to treat it. It's like, okay, so it's not that much different, other than if you are in a risk group, it could be super deadly. But you know what? The other day when I was driving home, a drunk driver wiped out a motorcyclist in front of me, and the dude was lying there dead on the ground. Life is about risk. There is risk. So you know what's really bad, and this makes me so angry? You die, game over. Whatever way you believe it, you are resting. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
If someone messes up your livelihood, it affects you your entire freaking life.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is happening on a massive scale. You know, it's not affecting privileged people with huge 401ks.
Yeah, it's not even just America.
No, I'm talking about everywhere.
This is a global issue right now. You know? But it just seems like other countries are definitely handling it better, and... you know, it's not crumbling other countries' economies to the ground like it is ours. And it does seem to have a lot to do with our control structure.
It really does.
Big old Papa Daddy, Uncle Sam.
And what it's doing is it's making this stew for chaos. Like, I'm waiting for this pot to boil over, because we've got, it seems like it's being, I don't know how to put it without being a jerk, but like in our urban areas, it's like they want people to fight, and there's no... We were talking about grown-ups earlier, how grown-ups are stupid. Why can't we get together and be like, hey, I don't agree with you on point A. You don't agree with me on point B. But can we make point A point 5 and, like, come together and figure something out?
Whatever happened to, like real intellectual discussion about things? I was watching this speech. I was watching this speech from Ronald Reagan during his campaign before he was president. And it was amazing. Okay, I'm not going to say I'm a Reagan supporter in any way, but the way he was talking, the way he was talking was very informed. It was very informative, and he wasn't at all even remotely trashing the other political party thing. He was just putting out a lot of these facts about what's going on in the world, and kind of his little bit of a plan to fix it.
Okay.
And it was kind of a warning about the rampant, like, he was kind of speaking against the Democratic Party, but it wasn't anything like it is today, where it's like, oh, well, Trump fucked a hooker.
Yeah, or
this, some petty bullshit, or look at Trump's America. But it was more like, okay, this is kind of what's going on in the zeitgeist. I'm sorry, I don't want to get into specifics of the speech because it's hard to remember
You're
everything.
just talking
It was
about
a really
the overall
long speech,
tone is different
but
than it is now.
the tone of it was very intellectual, and it's nothing like today's discussions about anything where it's just this big shit show on the news. It's just this big dog and pony act, and they're just I don't know. Everything just seems so much different now on how we put things into terms.
It keeps people enraged all the time. Don't you get tired of being mad at people all the time? Like, I feel everything in this planet that is constantly, like, we're constantly being assaulted with it is be mad, knee-jerk reaction, kids are being kidnapped,
and
Biden doesn't like babies, Trump's going to kill someone. And it's like constant.
Well, it's just like we talked about in our negativity episode. I don't know how many of the listeners really tuned into that one, but check it out. Episode 0 on negativity. But it's just like what we talked about in that episode at length, where the news is almost fueling that negativity fire because that's what gets the reactions to their content, especially since it's a dying like platform in the first place. So they're really just like grabbing at straws to try to survive, and to do that they need to like push whatever gets the reactions, whatever gets the eyeballs on the screen, and it's kind of absurd. Because it's not helping anything.
It's actually making it worse. People can't even be civil to each other. And there's a sense of entitlement in our country, in America here, that is just absolutely... I've lived at the fairgrounds last week, and nothing... I don't hate people. In fact, I'm a very big proponent of humans. I love people a lot. And I want to be around them a lot of time, but then I also want quiet time. But anyways, I dealt with a bunch of entitled behavior. And when I say entitled, I mean people that think you are there to serve them and that they are better than you, and by God, you better get out of their way if they want to do something, no matter who it hurts. And I feel like the media, in their quest to get whatever it is they're trying to do here, they don't care about the collateral damage. They don't care about who they hurt.
Not at all.
And it's hurting people.
Pretty badly.
Yes.
And that's what I'm thinking is like the hype about the COVID is, and doesn't even count any of the other crap that's going on. Just the COVID-19 stuff.
Just the COVID.
It just seems so artificial, like... New pandemic, everybody run scared, hide, get your guns, buy ammo.
Well, I know. Oh, like the other day.
It's chaos, it's the end of the world.
My husband coaches young people in competitive shooting sports, which is an amazing thing because it actually teaches people how to be responsible and be well-trained and use firearms in a good way. And it helps a lot of children. Like, we have some kids that couldn't even talk and look at humans, and now they're able to give speeches in public. It's a good thing.
Hell yeah.
And the problem is because everybody's doing this run on guns and run on ammo, he can't even get ammo for certain parts because it's all gone. And it's like, well, who are you going to shoot, people? Well, that'd be your neighbor.
What happened like just 1 year ago? The zeitgeist of America was that of guns are bad. Nobody should have a gun. Everybody's shooting each other in the schools and it's pandemonium, run and hide. Another big thing the news was perpetuating.
Yeah.
Another big fear tactic thing.
Where'd all those go?
It was like video games are violent and causing violence and people are shooting each other in the streets and blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden there's lines at every gun store. You can't even get a gun online because there's this backlog of customers. And good luck finding 22 ammo.
It's just stupid. Well, and it's like... People get all up in arms about stuff that's not even part of their region. Like, our school district is one of 2 that is letting the kids come to school without masks. What they don't say is enrollment's way down so they can properly social distance. And there are people from other states like, you're gonna kill people. That person should be held liable for every death, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do you think at some point in your life you haven't killed someone with the flu? Are you delusional?
Yeah.
And it's like, also, it's none of your business. And it also hasn't stopped all of you from coming to our boat ramp every single weekend in our town. And I'm looking at you guys.
I just went fishing a few times in the last couple months. And every single time I'm there, the parking lot's full of people from out of state. Yeah.
Yes. And it's
I don't want to name the state.
Well, it's
Washington.
a neighboring one. The thing is, though, is they're the worst about being sanctimonious and yelling at us about, in Idaho, you cowboys are going to kill people. It's like, you are flooding our state if you worried about a pandemic. Or like Canada. We can't go to Canada. Do you know how many Canadians are here? How's that slowing the spread?
It's not.
You know, so this COVID thing, that's what frustrates me the most. If science is truly accurate about this, which it's not because we don't have data yet.
We don't have accurate data. The only data streams we get are the news now. It's not like you could just like get on a realistic data stream with these scientists and get the right numbers. No, it gets filtered through this autonomous machine that is designed for propaganda to perpetuate. I don't even know anymore. Like it's not even about political agendas. It doesn't even seem anymore. It's just about how can we get people outraged.
Well, yeah, and then when you're outraged, I think somebody was talking about it shuts off your frontal lobe when you are in a state of perpetual outrage, and then you're more apt to follow a mob than you are make independent logical thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should look into that more because I do feel like it's like that whole meme of burn the witch. I feel like we are living that, but it's not in person. It's over the air, over digital, over, photons. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yes.
The burn the witch thing is just, I'm going to be kind of dumb, guys, because I literally spent 8 days taking care of children and 1,500-pound animals. So I'll probably sound like an idiot. Sorry. Okay. But anyways,
I think we're all kind of idiots. What do you expect?
I know. But, I know I am. The children took all my oxygen. Yeah. I'm deprived.
I'm in the same boat. I haven't been sleeping very well lately, and a part of it is due to the general feeling of stress from just the way the whole world is. Because again, like we talked about in the last episode, I think we're all kind of plugged into this universal consciousness stream.
Hive mind.
And we all feel the same anxiety about the world, whether you're affected directly by COVID or not, or by what's going on with the African American community, or that whole thing, or the human trafficking, or God, what's even next at this point? Like,
well, I don't know. What are we going to do?
And these are big issues, and they're very important issues, and I definitely think they need to be addressed. But it's almost like America, at least specifically, I don't want to speak for the whole globe, but at least in America, it's just this big mosh pit. And I've been in real mosh pits at metal concerts and rock concerts. It's a mental
mosh pit.
And this feels exactly the same as being in a mosh pit. It's just chaos. Everyone's getting shoved around and stomped on, and nothing's really getting done.
And who's going to get curb stomped on the floor next? Yeah. It's like, well, I feel like that. And as a person who feels people's emotions, because that's been my blessing curse my whole life, I feel the anxiety building, the angst. It's getting, what is going to be the one event that sends everybody over the top? I keep waiting for it, because you got a bunch of people on the right. Yeah. They have held themselves back. If you go through and look at all these skirmishes, it's people on the left killing people on the right. You know what happens when the right decides to blow? It is not going to be pretty. They're all over the place.
It's not going to be pretty at all.
They're not people that are sitting around in basements. They're people that are training for militias, and it's like, I don't want to live. I want us to figure out how to get along again. Yeah. Some of us are always going to be extremist jerks. I get it. Yeah. But
we've never truly gotten along necessarily.
But we could coexist.
I just want to see a state. Not a state. What am I saying? I want to see us return to a state where, like, we can just have real discussions. If someone doesn't agree with each other, we can just present our data on why we believe this for whatever reason you're believing or whatever you're talking about. Each person presents their your argument. Objective data, not your subjective feeling about how everything is, because that doesn't matter. But everybody needs to present like an objective case why they believe this and why the other person believes that. And it's just easier that way to come to a common ground that actually makes logical sense, and then we can move forward from that. That's called progress, right?
We're devolving.
Yeah.
Because now everybody's just got to yell the loudest.
Now it's just this big pitter-patter. Like, I don't even know. It's just, I don't know. I'm just sick of it all the time. I've been trying my best to just tune out of the world for a while. But then every time I tune back in for just a second, it's like, oh my God, really? Well, like this Kenosha thing, I didn't even hear about it right away.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just started going on Facebook recently again and just to look at memes. I'm trying to laugh,
Yeah, no.
Stress going on about school starting and all this. And so I'm trying to just get on and look at some memes and laugh, and I can't do anything without scrolling past this crazy story. I don't even understand what's going on. I haven't even looked into it because it's just so ridiculous and absurd. But my point is like, it's always something new now, just big and huge and new and outrageous.
Well, and I'm one of those people that I don't want to make up my mind, my opinion, because there is a difference between your subjective opinion and then what actually occurred. I don't want to do that until I have all the facts. But now people, they get in these like war parties on Facebook and the social media outlets, and then it comes out later, oh, by the way, this person did this, or by the way, this person did that. And by then, it's already burned the witch, and people's lives have been ruined. And it's like, guys, where are the grown-ups? I want to know where the grown-ups are, because I feel like stress is such a bad thing. And look, you and I are amped just for living life. Like, we're both.
I've had 3 cups of coffee.
I'm trying to stay awake, and we're just, our lives are not so bad compared to some people's, and I'm thinking life is hard enough to get through, and you should be able to try to enjoy those little moments, and people are filling them with more stress.
Yeah, and that's why I've just tried to tune out now.
Yeah, me too.
I really only get on social media for the memes now because it makes me laugh.
I love memes.
It's, but I cannot tune into the stream of what's going on in the world anymore. I'm shutting it out. It's pissing me off that nobody can just, get along and talk about this like adults. I don't understand this. Whenever I discuss this with anybody, it's more of a logical conversation. Everybody has at least some degree of logical facts to present. But this because when I discuss these kind of things, I do it in person with people. I don't sit there, pretend I'm a keyboard warrior, like I'm going to change the world with a fucking tweet.
Yeah, I know.
That's not how it works, people.
Do you know what it is, too, though? When I talk to a human face-to-face, I care about that human more than I care about their opinion.
Exactly.
And we have lost that
I can still be friends with someone if they have a differing opinion. Even if we can never come to a common ground about that thing, I still, because they're another human, I have respect for them, at least to that degree. And, you know, I'm not going to sit there and, like, ruin that just because their opinion doesn't match mine. The world was built on differing opinions.
Well, and actually conflict is how growth happens.
Exactly.
It's just we are having the type of conflict we're having now is not growth conducive.
This is not healthy conflict either.
No, because nothing's resolved.
It's almost all on social media. I don't even hear anybody arguing in person about any of this stuff, at least not to the degree we see it. Because, like, social media looks like a freaking war zone right now. If we had to paint a picture of it, it'd be like that painting of the Revolutionary War.
It'd just be like
where there's just these massive armies on both sides shooting at each other and just dead bodies flying everywhere and blood in the streets, and it's not. That's what it looks like and feels like.
Cannon fodder.
That's the feeling I get on social media now. Even when sometimes I get on there just to plug the podcast. And the first thing I see is some freaking battle about Trump or Biden or whatever the hell's going on, or you know, it's like it's getting ridiculous. But in real life, I don't see that happening in person to anyone. It's still good interactions between people generally. You know, everyone's a neighbor.
Well, but because of COVID, you're more isolated from actual humans, and so people are interacting less. And if you know, the art of debate is disappearing. People do not know how to conversate. They do not know how to interact with each other. I see it when I go into public. And people are rude to each other. They behave like they drive stupidly, and then they yell at each other. In the grocery store, no one looks at you. Yeah. Like, we're in our small community, people wave to each other. People say hi.
And you might chop this up to, you can call it what you want. It might be a bit of privilege to be here and where we are in North Idaho. It's a way different, because I do hear stories from other places around the country, and it does seem to be a bit more pandemonium. Well, just look at Portland. I don't even want to imagine what it's like to be in Portland right now.
Portland was a nice city when I was a kid.
It's not bad.
No.
But because of what's going on in the world, everybody's fighting and
it's a war zone.
And understandably, there's some issues going on that people want to rise their fist up for, and I get it.
Do that without causing harm.
How does causing chaos and being violent and just pure anarchy solve anything? It never has.
It doesn't unless you want to end the system.
Even when we were protesting the British, you know, back when this country was founded, it became escalated, but it wasn't, I think, as gross as it is now, and it was a lot more justified.
Well, I read
to become that way. But now it's like it's almost like the issues are much smaller, the stakes are lower, and we're trying to make change, and understandably we should. But just the way it's being played out to me is just...
Well, there's no decorum.
It doesn't seem to match like how outraged people are, I guess.
Well, you feel like their outrage...
It can be handled in a less...
exponentially greater than the actual grievances, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like, it seems like the issues that are being like protested and stuff like that can be done in a way that's not how it's done now with all these looters and craziness going. I don't even know.
Well, and
and then there's also the conspiracies going on about it, and it could, I don't know.
And we're not just privileged white people talking about this either. That makes me mad. It's like, you and I are both of Jewish ancestry. My husband is Polynesian. His people have been all about, there's been a lot of bad things. So it's like, I'm not trying to be some privileged person that's waxing poetic on why are people getting out of hand. I believe in rage. If you are mad about something, you will change it. It's just, why are you just being mad for the sake of mad? And this is all people.
And some people are not even part of any of it. It's just groupthink, and so some people just get outraged just to join the outrage.
Well, that's what I mean. And it's like, so they're not, where are the adults? When you're an adult, your brain is supposed to be mature. You are supposed to be able to make thoughts and rational... And yes, there's a lot of mental illness and stuff, but come on, guys. If you truly want to change something, you'll put the work in. Tearing up your town or listening to the news. Be able to take yourself out of that situation and be like, I'm willing to put the work in to change this. And it's not fun work either. And it might take a generation or two, but you think of how cool it would be at the end of the day when you're back up in Stardust energy mode to be like, hey, see that right there? I helped do that. Because I was reading... Oh, this morning I was reading about this young black man. He is the first... black owner of a horse that's going in, or he might not be the first, but he's the only one whose horse is supposed to run the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, wow.
Well, they're going to protest the Kentucky Derby because Breonna Taylor died in Louisville where they have it, and so they want to disrupt it because it's privileged people, have the Kentucky Derby. But it's like you're actually his grandfather. I think it was his great grandfather couldn't even go in and be a part of it because of Jim Crow. And here this man owns a horse. Do you know how big that is? It's like pretty huge. Big. And it's going to get ruined because, see, people aren't thinking. It's like, how about we just support this man? Yeah. Wouldn't that be supporting Black lives? I just,
can't we like boost each other up?
And then if people
the world needs more of right now.
With Ms. Taylor, like, let's fix that too. If there's an injustice, I'm all aboard the train. I will donate money. I will do my time, and I'll stay out of the way of people that actually are injustice and let them get what they need. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
You would think.
But instead, they're making.
But why doesn't that match? What's going on now? I don't understand.
Because
you have the logical way of doing things, and you have what's going on in the world today.
Well, I think a lot of it comes with entitlement.
I think there is a lot of entitlement, and then there is a lot of. Unfortunately, there is a lot of racism still rampant in the world.
It's
not even just America,
Oh yeah, try being.
But in the world, there's still a lot of rampant racism.
It's okay. It's a tongue twister.
So that is also fueling part of the fire.
Well, yeah, and
people want to run their mouths off on Twitter. Again, I think a lot of this comes down to social media.
You don't have to be
and how everything's represented on the news.
Yeah, if you're in a constituted outrage, you don't have to be face to face. Because I'm telling you, if you walk up to someone and you slander them or say something like you do on social media, it's a different tale. I've watched it because most people are cowards when other people are getting angry, or they just yell.
It's not even. Maybe it's not even just cowardice. It's more just like. Well, I guess maybe it's cowardice because there's real consequences in real life when you don't have a keyboard and a screen in front of you.
When you're not removed
just an anonymous
from the
avatar.
situation.
When you're in person, it's more like you have these social cues and body language and these things, like these fears of like. I guess consequence. I don't know.
Well, I don't fight with people on the internet because I have more valuable things.
I've stopped a long time ago. There's no point.
I have more valuable things to spend my time on. An anecdotal example of this is the other day, our superintendent of our school district, that woman has gone above and beyond trying to make sure everybody's safe. And people are so mean to her.
That's a tough job. I wouldn't want that job right now.
Yeah, and on the
they don't know what they're doing, guys. There's been no precedent for what's going on right now.
And they're working
so
they're
doing their best to keep people safe. They want the children safe.
They do.
They don't want to spread the virus to the parents or to anybody.
No.
But they also have to figure out a way to get these children educated, and also wade through the outrage of these parents that are just want to be cruel for no reason. I talked to one of the school administrator recently. I was trying to get the kids registered for school and all that, and we're just doing there's multiple schools in our district. We're trying to get our daughters in one that's a little farther away than our house. And she was telling me, I asked her, like, how are we going to hear about, like, what school they're going to go to? Because you guys are doing it last minute. Like, we're going to hear a week before school. And they're like, oh, we'll call you. I'm like, you're going to sit there and call everybody?
They do. I
was like, well, that's amazing. You guys deserve more money. Like, you guys need to get paid more. Like, that's amazing. But they're also, they're dealing with the normal, like, minutia of being an administration for school, and then you throw the COVID thing on top of it, and everybody has these questions, and everybody has these outrages, and there's a lot falling on the backs of good, decent people who just want to run a school.
They want to help. Well, like
that's not even easy in a normal freaking situation.
No, because you're dealing with all walks of life of people. Like my son is in the junior high, and because they can't come meet their teachers in person, they usually go every year and they have an open night type thing. The teachers took the time with the principal to film a video of, hi, I'm in this room, how you doing, looking forward to seeing you, because then,
that's awesome.
And it was so cute, and they put it on YouTube for the kids to watch, so it's like, because they know they're all on there, but they took that extra time. They're like, this is weird, but we're going to do our best because we miss you guys. Everybody acts like teachers are some sort of monsters sometimes. It's like, you know what, they're just...
I never understood that.
I don't get it.
I was on Facebook the other day for just our local towns, like... It's basically like a bulletin board for the local town, but it's on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. And I have to check that every once in a while because I have to know what's going on in the town, especially when school's starting. And it was just, somebody was outraged and talking mad shit, by the way, because they're not letting parents in the school, just the children. But they were like, with all the pedophiles and stuff going on right now, it seems a little fishy. You won't let the parents in the school. Blah, 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 blah. Just completely insulting.
Homeschool your kid. You have that option.
Yeah, and it's just like, if they would have stopped for like 20 seconds before being a keyboard warrior and thought about what's going on, they'd realize the school just wants the best for the children. And they also have to deal with the parents. And they also have to deal with this virus.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit there and, like, grossly accuse them of being pedophiles because there's something that's been going on since the dawn of time going on now that just happens to be in the news now.
Well,
but now they're all of
yeah.
a sudden the school is a pedophile because they won't let the parents in because of a virus, which is clearly what's going on, and I don't understand. But basically, my point is it was just a stupid person who acted irrationally and decided to type out this message like it was going to do anything anyway, and they got. Let me tell you though, in the comment section
they
was
probably
gold.
got roasted.
Yeah, the only reason I even read that was because I wanted to see the comments. So I go to the comments and
aren't they the greatest?
Like
yeah.
100 people put that person in their place, and it was one of the most glorious things I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and I feel like that as you're laughing.
So bad.
No, it's perfect because I feel like there's an obligation as a human. If you don't like something, quit expecting other people to cater to you. I have a lot of complaints with how modern American school is done. But the people that are executing it, I would never complain about them. Mm-hmm. It's like, if I have a problem, homeschool your kid. You can make the sacrifices. Don't expect other people to do it for you.
Yeah.
And you know what? I homeschooled my kids from birth to 7th grade on my son, 9th grade on my daughter. I let her go to school. And I didn't get any money. I didn't get any help. I had to stay home. I went without things. And you know what? You do that if you have kids. And I think if more people behave this way, yes. Yeah. And it's like, and then I think more people need to speak up against, my husband's constantly ragging on me. You need to say something. And I think the quiet people like us that read the comments need to say stuff sometimes, and not in it.
But not on Facebook. That's the problem. No, saying something on Facebook doesn't help at all.
But when 100 people on Facebook say something to that one person,
it didn't change their mind.
No, they're stupid. But if you say it, well, and that's just it. But then 100 people know that there's 100 people out there that aren't idiots.
Yeah.
And it's like, then
there's not even that many idiots, but the idiots have the loudest voice now.
They're controlling the narrative, and I hate it.
Yeah, that's what's scary to me. There really isn't that many idiots.
No, there
really is not. A lot of people are very smart and very good people. It's, for whatever reason, somehow the idiots got louder than everybody else.
Because they're protected by all the people that are responsible, is what
and then they all feel that they have this weird false sense of vindication because they're trending.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, all of a sudden, they don't have to listen to the logic and the reason that are in the comment sections because they're a trending tweet.
Well, and is this all about attention? And that's just it.
Yes. I think a lot of it, that's the entire point of social media, is not?
Attention. Well, and social media is an amazing tool. I mean, especially for
businesses.
I'm
not trying to disparage social media. It's a great tool. But it's just not used correctly.
For humans, I'm a little concerned. But what's happening now is the big overlords are trying to control how people engage in social media. There's a huge fight on that when it ceases becoming an open forum and it becomes a controlled, and then it's journalism in some regards because you're controlling the opinion.
I've debated with myself on this because it's like,
it's a private company.
Because you see how it's being...
Yes.
You see how social media is being used now, and there's a voice in the back of my head saying it should be regulated to a degree. But then it's like, at the same time, like, come on, like, we do have freedom of speech. People should be able to discuss anything uncensored.
Well, that's why I feel like the people...
Let's say, for example, just a watered-down example. If somebody wants to go and spew racist or white supremacist like propaganda on Facebook, okay? Mm-hmm. That should be allowed, because then you're going to have a bunch of intelligent people put them in their place and go and make the world see when that post becomes trending that these people are freaking idiots.
Yeah, you want to shine light on cockroaches.
At the same time, we don't want that to accidentally catch on and become like, oh, everybody agrees with them because they talked in a charismatic way, like. Well, then there's the fear, and then there's the even fear beyond that, almost conspiracy territory, that they're allowing that so that they can use that kind of idiocy to control you elsewhere. You know, oh, see, there's this problem here, so we got to make a rule for this because we got to protect you. And I hate that more than anything else. I hate that. If someone's a racist in front of me, I'm going to be like, Moonbat, take a hike. You know what? You can exist in your little racist world over here on your private property, and no one will bug you. Yeah, go start your own Facebook group or go start your own echo chamber. Yeah, you don't have to be a part of that. That's nice. You guys do your circle jerk over there. Yeah. That's fine. But I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. That's okay. But it's true. And I feel that about every extreme thing. I do not like fundamentalists of every kind. I know this is going to go on the radio, and you know what? That's fine. That's my that's my opinion. I don't like them because you know what happens is they control the narrative because they're the noisiest. They're like spoiled 3-year-old children, and they're just going to rant and rave. And it's like, you know what? That child needs to be disciplined. And who disciplines it is the grown-ups. And the grown-ups are busy being responsible, and these people have taken to the net, and they have just destroyed so many things.
And some of it they haven't even destroyed, but it feels that way because it's constantly in our ears.
I know. It's insane. The world is a messed up place right now.
I feel like we're annoyed with humans.
It's not that bad if you're not on social media, though.
I know. Well, no, I know.
Day-to-day life, and
My life's
I think for most people, I feel comfortable speaking for most people.
Let's see.
But day-to-day life is pretty normal other than the slight restrictions that are there because of COVID.
Even poor people, talk to your grandparents if they were poor, and your poor life now is infinitely better than how it was.
We might start to be slipping into a situation where we can empathize with the people who lived through the Great Depression a little easier, though.
Oh, because
I mean,
none of us have gone. Okay, I've been
the economic reaction to COVID. It's just not good. I don't understand. I don't have a better answer. Well, but also the ball's already rolling and it's going down a steep hill.
But we're told all the time that smarter people than us know how to do things. So
do they?
I don't know.
Do they?
But you're told that all the time.
We were supposed to trust these master economists that are informing, Big Daddy Uncle Sam in the White House, and we're supposed to trust them that they know what they're doing, and all of a sudden we see that there's a lot of these negative repercussions from what they chose to do, in which we didn't even have a choice. None of this went to vote. It was just,
we're doing
everybody don't go to work because there's a virus. And we don't want this pandemic getting out of hand.
It got out of hand.
Now nobody went to work. Now everybody's broke. They give us $1,200. It's gone. Everybody spent it. That was months ago.
Yeah.
There's no plan for what else is going to happen after this.
It's
a big argument. And basically, it's a snowball effect now.
Yeah.
Because the snowball went over the crest of that mountain, and it's just going to keep getting bigger. And I don't see how it's going to stop. And when it does stop, it's going to be violent regardless, whether it hits a wall or we try to stop it.
It's just
what's going to happen. I know I'm speaking really like metaphorically here and everything, but like.
Well, I feel like most of it is a lot of the problem is that we all think about this stuff, but like I don't know about you, I am far more busy now than I was a decade ago. Like far more. And I don't know if that is a side effect of life is becoming more automized. What is that? Like what's the word I'm looking for? Like things are easier and so you can fit more in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we have all these, because I stepped, like this morning I went for a walk because I was just tired of all the noise. I got up and I just walked around my farm for like a half hour. And I can tell you after that half hour in the silence and talking to my animals, I felt a lot better.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and it doesn't have to be on a farm. I'm just saying sometimes you need that quiet.
Those are some of my most cherished moments.
I know.
I have 3 children. And I have 2 drives during my week, half an hour. I'm just by myself in my car, and those are 2 of my most cherished moments every single week. Don't get me wrong, I love my family, and my time with them is very cherished as well. But the silence, it's the silence. I just have some music playing in my car, and I'm alone. If I don't get into a situation where there's road rage, I'm really just really relaxed and.
Well, and I love to drive on back roads.
We need though. Everybody needs a bit of the silence.
You do. You need, and I think this is what happens when you don't get it. Because I'll even admit it. You roll over, you look at your phone when you wake up.
Mm-hmm. And every single morning.
Yes, and that's probably not a good thing.
Especially now that we have a podcast, I like to get... humans are programmed to love the numbers going up, so I have to check the podcast numbers. Come on.
Well, and I think that's the allure of social media. It's like 1 like is okay, but 200 is you're feeling good about yourself. And I don't know.
By the way, we haven't hit any of those numbers.
No, we haven't.
Help us out here, guys. Come on.
Oh, look what we just did there.
Hit like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon.
But I don't know. We also do this because we love it.
Oh, absolutely. I don't do this for the numbers, but those are a luxury that come with it. Like, I don't know. But my point is, like, we all look at our phone in the morning.
Yes.
I'm guilty no matter what the reason is. I can't, everybody
and I
is.
use my phone less than, like, some people can't put it down. I will go out and work on my farm and leave it in the house. Yeah. Because sometimes I just don't even want it near me. Because I personally hate to talk on the phone. A lot of that comes from growing up in the logging camp.
I hate talking on the phone.
But I love texting.
I don't use my phone as a phone as often as I possibly can avoid it. Text messaging, I don't mind, because it's one of those things you could just put on the back burner and reply how you want, when you want.
Well, you don't
It makes sense. Text messaging is a very awesome tool we invented. I'm excited that we invented it.
I feel that way about email, too. I don't have to interrupt someone during their day. I don't expect them to answer me right away. It's like I don't have to
Yeah.
interfere with their time. People's time is really important to me because there's only 1,440 minutes in the day, and I don't want to be a drag on any of those minutes. It really matters to me, and I think it's because nobody cared about that on my side of the scale. I was like, for a long time, I had to make. Oh, we'll have to talk about boundaries someday because that was the single greatest thing an adult can do ever is make boundaries. Especially if you are a caring adult, you will burn out because someone will always be vying for that little bit of attention. Because a lot of people
We talked about that on the negativity episode, I think it was.
I think we did a little bit.
Was either that or the music episode. I think we talked about it in the music episode.
Boundaries
because
are important.
That's how the industry operates now, is trying to suck away those precious minutes of your life instead of actually just giving you a song to listen to.
Well, I think there's a book out there. It's The Power of No. Because everybody talks about getting the yes, but learning to say no has been the greatest thing in my life. Because I've just, somebody will be like, there's always someone that needs something. And you know what, you guys, you can't help everybody.
No.
And if
you may want to, and it's probably rewarding a lot of the time.
It's very noble.
Yeah.
But if you can't take care of yourself first, you are no good to anybody.
That's true. And that's actually a lesson that it took becoming a parent to learn. Where it's like, oh crap, I have other life forms depending on me. I have to take care of myself in order to even remotely take care of them.
Exactly.
Before then, I didn't give a crap about taking care of myself. I was just sucked into the moment all the time of doing this and doing that with friends or helping a friend out or helping a family member out or whatever. And I didn't do a lot for myself, and I didn't take care of myself very well. And then I became a parent, and for whatever reason, the perspective changed, and I was like,
well, someone's depending on you.
I should probably, start eating healthier and,
well, if I don't get enough
sleep. Get a little exercise, because if I have a heart attack at 45, my kids are left high and dry. What am I going to do? So, and it's not just about your health necessarily, but just everything. Your mental health is really important, too.
Well, and that's what I wonder about going back to social media. I wonder, how we have this huge, massive mental health problem. I think it's always been there. Yeah. I do think some of it...
I think there's a lot more fuel for it. The fire now on that aspect.
Well, and I was going to say in nutrition, too, because I just read a study the other day that came out, and I know there's studies on everything, but this one was interesting. It said the more hyper-processed food you ate, the less healthier you were.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows that. I think that's just a fact now.
It was like they made it a fact, you know, because everybody kind of guessed it, but now it's kind of they're concreting it in there that it reduces cognitive function, and you don't have the chemicals to feed your brain. And
if you disagree with that, by the way, and I have to say this, shut up and eat a salad, please. Jesus Christ. Come on.
You need some chlorophyll.
I'm sorry, but there's always going to be those people that disagree. I like to eat potato chips.
Well, you can eat potato chips, but you're not going to be healthy.
Cool, eat a potato chip. You might want to have a fucking salad every once in a while too, because yes, eating extremely processed food is not healthy for you.
Well,
I just wanted to put people in,
throw that out
because there's going to be people who disagree. Yes, they need to be put in their place. The world needs to know.
That was so deliciously
the world needs to know. I don't think we should perpetuate the snack food industry as much as we are. They're delicious, yes, but come on.
Well, and I think it should be a treat instead of
at least should be known. You know how everybody smoked cigarettes as if they were drinking water back in the frickin' 60s and 70s?
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden it came out that oh my God, you're going to die if you smoke a cigarette. It's like, the same thing needs to be said for sugar, please. If we're gonna demonize one unhealthy vice, can we please just hurry up and demonize all of them? At least, can we get a warning label on every candy bar that says, warning, sugar does lead to addiction and these certain health problems, obesity and, heart disease and blah, 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 blah. Because it does, and they're sitting there directly marketing sugar to children, which disturbs me. And I'm sorry, I digress.
It's okay, cradle to the grave. No,
this has been building in me for a while. It started with the whole vaping debate. I'm a vaping connoisseur, if you will. You can probably hear me do it every once in a while in the podcast. But I love to smoke my e-cig, okay? I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, and I realized that was not healthy. But I also like to inhale smoke. So I switched over to using something I would, at least, we can all agree it's a bit more healthy than smoking cigarettes, okay? But that's not the debate here. The debate here is, what was it, last year about this time, they were trying to ban vaping completely?
That was flavor of the month, yep.
Because of the news, basically. Let's just put it this way. It was all propaganda. It was definitely paid for by the tobacco industry, because they wanted to slide in and take over the vaping industry.
They're losing market share,
yeah,
too.
The tobacco industry didn't want vaping to be banned. They wanted to take over the vaping industry, so they demonized vaping until they could start their own little vape company.
They wanted it regulated because big companies
Exactly. They wanted it regulated so they could pay the regulators.
Yep.
Because they already employ them anyway. Come on, let's be real. This is not a conspiracy theory. This one's a conspiracy fact. Follow the fucking money. Follow the fucking numbers. Look at history. They have lobbyists in the fucking Congress who directly deal with Congress. Let's just put it this way. If there wasn't any conspiracy going on, smoking would probably just be illegal at this point because of how agreed upon it is that it's deadly.
Drinking
and how many
causes
people
a lot
it
of
definitely
lives.
kills every year.
Yep.
I don't even remember where I was going with this. I just kind of went down a rabbit hole.
You were talking about vaping and about
so it was sugar. So
Sugar's, yeah.
During that whole thing, what I realized was they're going to sit there and debate this freaking vaping for no reason just because some kids are smoking Juuls in high school because they're a bunch of idiots. But I'm sorry, the reason the vaping numbers went up in children in high school is because
they banned it.
They're freaking advertising it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And making it look cool, just like they did with cigarettes back in the 60s.
Well, and
you're only cool if you smoke a cigarette.
Anything an adult doesn't want you to do.
But we're talking about social media, unregulated.
Yep.
Any fucking buddy in the world, you can give your a lot of people, I've seen 8-year-olds with fucking iPhones, and they're probably on Instagram, and they're seeing these Juul ads, where these cool fucking hipster looking people, and they're smoking a Juul, and they're cool, and everybody's all hyped up about. So of course, and then unfortunately those are sold at the fucking gas station, and you can't expect fucking, Joe Bob down at the fucking Quickie Mart to check everybody's goddamn ID or question somebody who's gonna. You don't know if they're gonna buy for an underage person or not. It's not like they ask you and who's gonna tell the truth. But on the flip side, sugar's completely fine to put television commercials with cartoon characters on for these sugary fucking cereals. And that's fine, even though sugar is absolutely proven to cause heart disease and obesity.
It's as addictive as cocaine.
It's just as more addicting than cocaine, I would say. It's probably the most, if not definitely the most addicting substance on this fucking planet. And we all know, because if we all tried to stop eating sugar, we would be very frustrated, and the world would probably get worse.
I beat it.
Even though it's unanimously known, I guess, that sugar is not healthy, but it's marketed directly to children. But I, as an adult, I was facing a ban of something I like to do because, as an adult, that's already not allowed to be sold to children in the first fucking place. Mm-hmm. But they were going to take that away because some dumbass kids were vaping and 3 people died from something that wasn't even vape. No. And then fucking news twisted around on everybody and said, oh my god, everybody's going to die, run and hide, the fucking sky's falling. Just like they did with the COVID and the fucking everything else. And that's what led me down that rabbit hole.
That was awesome, though, Brady.
It's the same fucking thing, but it's like, if we're going to demonize one fucking thing,
let's do it all.
Might as well do them all, because this is getting ridiculous. Like, sugar is fucking horrible for you.
Well, as someone
and it shouldn't be marketed to children.
No.
That needs to be solved. You can't market fucking cigarette ads to children, even though they were doing it with Juul before it was regulated. Yes, that should probably be regulated. I completely agree with that. And I'm a libertarian, for the most part, okay? I don't like government getting involved in shit, but when it comes to safety, I think definitely there should be some regulations in some industries like that, because they were directly marketing Juul to fucking children, and there's no fucking doubt about it, especially because this happened after Marlboro fucking bought the Juul specifically. I'm only demonizing one brand. There's plenty of the brands, but Marlboro bought Juul, then they started marketing to children on Instagram because they couldn't fucking do it with cigarettes, and they saw the fucking market changing. But all of a sudden, the sugar industry's fine. It's killing billions of people throughout history. But it's fine to just fucking throw a fucking cartoon bunny rabbit on a Trix commercial and get kids addicted to sugar when they're fucking 4 years old. That's totally fine.
Or obesity.
And then that gives them a nice long battle with a sugar addiction for their entire fucking life. And of course, I'm addicted to sugar. Who's not?
I'm not anymore. I will explain to you as a person who beat sugar addiction, because I was so addicted I had to have it at every meal. And no, it was sorry, guys. No, it's okay. You take a breath. That one flared me. It's okay. I patted him on the back. He's gonna be all right. Well, and as someone who beat sugar addiction, let me tell you, it was one of the most miserable 28 days of my life coming off of it. I had to take ibuprofen. My head hurt. I had shakes. It was horrible, and I have mad respect for anybody that beats anything, because now I went without having a single grain of sugar. Of refined sugar, even honey, nothing. I ate nothing but except for fruit.
Good for you.
For an entire year.
Not an easy thing to accomplish, trust me.
No, and most people backslide. As a person that's successfully kept off weight for it's like 7 years now, the only way you're going to do that is it's all in your cranium, and you're not going to do it if you eat processed food and sugar.
No. Processed food is pretty much packed full of sugar anyway.
It is. They add it to... and
high fructose corn syrup, that's in pretty much everything. And we could talk about... I could do a whole episode on that.
Oh, corn syrup.
As why corn syrup's in everything.
Well, we'll go back to, and that's
the
problem
government
with
subsidies on the unhealthy food industry. We can go on about that all day, but basically, sugar's in fucking everything that's processed.
And it is, and it's incredibly addictive. And you know, everybody talks about these COVID deaths like they are so important. If they knew half the deaths that we experience in this country every year, I would love to run the numbers about how much is attributed to unhealthy diet, because a lot of it is.
And that's kind of where my point. That's kind of where my point with my rant went is like, if we're gonna fucking demonize COVID deaths, or we're gonna be this up in arms about COVID deaths when they're actually pretty small amount. Again, each one of those is a tragedy. But what about the cigarette deaths? What about the sugar deaths? What about car accidents? What about all these other things that kill thousands of billions of people today? We're not gonna make any kind of new regulations on those to prevent those deaths at all. But everybody fucking destroy the entire fucking world's economy because 10,000 people are gonna die. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
I do.
Doesn't it? No, I don't think it fucking does make a lick of sense.
That's why I wonder what else is. I always am wondering, and not in this conspiracy way. I just wonder what else is there that we're not being told.
That's like, what there's something. There seems to be another layer to this fucking thing that it does. Nobody's gonna really even see. I cannot wait until fucking 10, 15 years from now when we look back and we're starting to discuss all the scandals and the lies and the stuff that's coming out.
What was
just like it does with everything that happens.
Well, that's just it. I feel like
I can't wait to hear about that. We're not talking about it now. I guess we are a little bit, but like
we're a little bit. Humans are fallible, though, Brady. I mean, and because they're fallible and because they're greedy, if it's not checked by people that try to live beyond those standards, this is what you get, and it's metastasized because we have instant communication.
Yeah. By the way, the more we talk about this, like I'm wondering if we're even going to be able to post this one on YouTube.
Why? Because you dropped 4,000 F-bombs?
No, I mean, you can drop as many F-bombs as you want on YouTube. We're not. It's not like we're a children's channel.
Are we violating?
And we don't have any advertisers.
Oh, that's true.
My point is, like, there's been some censorship with the whole fucking COVID thing that YouTube specifically searches for with their algorithm, and so they can snuff quote-unquote misinformation, but especially about COVID, because there's people's lives on the line, because they don't want you taking hydroxychloroquine.
But we're asking
We have the documents, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, God. I just feel like we're asking questions, and that is the whole point of discourse, is that I wish people would discuss it with us, because I don't have a problem being wrong. I would like people
I don't either. Please prove me wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
But are there other people out here that notice this like we do? I believe there is, because I just spent last week at a fairgrounds with 1,500 people, and do you know what everybody was talking about?
Which is insane in today's day with the COVID thing. Like,
we were all outside.
I watch some YouTubers and they're in England and they can't fucking do a damn thing. And they can't barely leave their house still.
Welcome to Idaho.
And that's okay.
But
that's totally okay if that's what they all agree they should do. Fine.
That's voluntarism, though.
But it's just weird to see in my community specifically. Everyone's pretending like this isn't even fucking happening.
And our numbers are plummeting.
Yeah,
plummeting. And I want to see in 14 days, because we went above and beyond. They canceled the fair because that's usually 100,000 people. So it was just the animal kids, and we all had social distancing. Yeah. People did bring masks. I'm not going to say what happened with those.
Of course not everyone's worn a mask.
But we tried to do our best to comply with the rules, and we did. And I was really proud of us. But I want to see in 14 days if there's an increase in cases. Because according to the parameters that I keep getting nagged at about, there should be an explosion of cases because 1,500 people were around each other.
Right.
We were outside, though. And I don't know. That's the stuff that I'm getting mad about, Brady. It's like, well, the numbers, the numbers are plummeting.
The numbers seem to be the same as before they did the whole stay-at-home fucking shit.
Yeah,
it's not like it.
It wasn't even here.
My point is, like, it's more of a question than a point. Would there have been this explosion in deaths if everyone had just gone to work but practiced, hygiene and social distancing? Be smart about it, obviously, but like, don't pretend it wasn't happening. But like, would there have been this explosion in deaths because we went to work to provide for ourselves?
I'm more terrified. I read yesterday they're promising to release the vaccine by November 1st, which is conveniently before the election. But, I love vaccines.
I don't trust that.
I am not an anti-vaxxer, but I don't believe in rushing science.
Exactly.
It took 5 years to get the Ebola vaccine, and that was rushing it.
Yeah, I am definitely not an anti-vaxxer.
But I also am going to ask questions.
But it scares me that they rushed it like that. Like, what are going to be the negative repercussions later down the road? Because, like, throughout history, we've seen, like, oh, it's a good idea. Let's put this irradiated chemical on on the face of a watch in order for it to glow in the dark. Cool.
If you care
and then people are fucking getting cancer and their faces are melting off because of this fucking chemical. Everybody said it was safe.
Oh, there's thallium, too.
Thallium, I think that's what I was talking about. Thallium.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff with
thallium. Or the shit they were putting in makeup. and it was causing these horrible, atrocious health problems.
Oh, or baby powder.
But it was completely safe.
Baby powder.
I don't want to say it was nefarious. Oh, we know that these causes these problems, but we're still going to use it in our product because it's cheaper. They might do that in the fucking snack food industry, but not all, not all the chemical industries just know there's going to be problems until later down the road when it causes the problems.
And that's why
why I'm nervous about this vaccine, because they're fucking rushed it together, and it's probably not even really going to make a dent. And there's also going to be the problem of, like, making sure everybody gets the fucking vaccine in the first place, because there's all these at least in America, there's this big fucking movement about people who can't take vaccines because of the 5G and the government tracking and they're going to give us autism and God fucking knows. God damn it, sorry. The fucking tinfoil hat. But anyway.
And also, I don't care what people do. If you want to do your thing, do you. But don't spread misinformation just because you don't like something. Because
some people don't even know that they're misinformed.
I know.
I think that's half the problem.
They think, I read this on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw this meme. It said that the 5G was going to kill us.
And then they group together. It's kind of like thought piranhas. Like there's a little bit of an idea that gets dropped in the pool, and one nibbles on it, and then they send out a pheromone, and they're like, "Dive in there, kill it!"
Oh, for God's sake, that's so true. That's so accurate.
Thought piranhas.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
That's a good way to put it.
I think about stuff that time like visually, because I'm a visual person, and I just think of this one person's like, "The 5G is gonna kill us," and it's like, if it's on a certain frequency, it can be used as a weapon. If it's but go what? You know what's funny is
they were saying it caused COVID for a while too. That was a funny one.
Oh yeah,
sorry,
I like that one.
I had to go.
Some of them, you know what? You just need to look at social media from a vein of humor, because sometimes it makes me crazy, and I think it's because we're hyper stressed right now from life things.
Oh, I go on conspiracy theory subreddit.
Oh, I love
just
that
for the laughs.
So much.
It's so funny.
Oh, birds or drones.
It's so funny.
I love it.
But then every once in a while, there's this nugget in there that's true, and you're like, oh fuck, that's scary. But then the rest of them are just ridiculous and hilarious and absurd.
Well, and
I'm sorry.
And if that gives you joy, if thinking of what ifs, because I feel like sometimes conspiracy theorists are people that just had active imaginations as kids.
Yeah.
And I had an active imagination. I like to think about what ifs. Like, Elon Musk announced that we're going to try to get 1 million people on Mars by 2050. That's only 30 years. I would like to think about that. Yeah. I actually might still be alive then. And I'd be so old, I'd be like, hey, I'll volunteer as tribute. I might go to Mars. It's only, 8-month journey?
Yeah.
And you're going to die anyways, so why not give it a go? It might be a fun way to go out.
Although my thing is like, I saw a headline today. I didn't get a chance to read the article, but the headline was basically saying, like, Elon was saying basically he expects some of the first gen travelers to Mars to die.
Yeah.
Come on.
Any explorer,
of course they're gonna die.
Dies.
It's a fucking uninhabitable environment we're not meant to be living in, so some people are gonna die.
Right. Hello, Lewis and Clark.
But who's really gonna volunteer to go to Mars? Do they already have the people?
Okay.
How is he convincing these people they're never coming back? They're going to die on Mars, period.
Well, okay, I'm gonna be
They'd be damn lucky if they were able to launch the mission to Mars, live there long enough to have some other mission sent to where there's a way to launch another rocket back from Mars to get here. That's the time scale just seems unfathomable. But
it's
basically,
cool.
I think everybody from the first generation who goes there is going to die on Mars.
You got to adapt.
There's no way. But my question is, how is he convincing these people to go in the first place? I don't want to go to fucking Mars.
Well,
you're not going to come back.
But think about it.
Life ain't going to be any better up there, man. You can't. That's like going to the bottom of the ocean. I'm just going to go live on the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, but think about it. I'm going to be in
James Cameron.
I'm going to be in my late 60s when this happens. Say that I get diagnosed with a particularly virulent form of lymphoma or something, and I know I'm not going to live.
That would make sense.
Why not be a pioneer?
But I don't think that they're going to be sending terminally ill people into space on
not
a very important mission.
No, but if you volunteered to say...
Crap, now I'm thinking of Space Force, sorry.
Space Force. Yeah, say you volunteer, though. I'm not being the Husky. Anyway, say that you were volunteering so they could get your analytics on how the radiation affects you or something, and you were willing to sacrifice yourself for that. People have done that before. It might be kind of cool. I don't know. And then people have always been willing to sacrifice themselves for the advancement of humanity. Think of the first astronauts.
Oh, for sure, man.
They weren't going to come back.
No.
They didn't know they were.
Imagine you were like Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and these people who went to the moon.
Yeah.
There was no guarantee you're coming back. In fact, there was a very high likelihood that you were just going to crash and die on the moon. Like, astronomically high probability that you were just going to die on the mission. But they did it to get the data.
Yep.
We needed the data.
Which is what I was talking about.
Even if they failed, we knew how to do it better because of their failure.
Well, that's how we learned.
That's what drove them to do it.
So
I'm sure they were fairly confident that they were going to get there and be fine. But still, like, there was a high probability they weren't making it.
It was higher than getting up out of bed in the morning.
They even knew that, there was that radiation belt on the way to the moon that they had to pass through. So, if anything, they knew that their life expectancy, at the very least, was going to plummet because they had to travel through high-intensity radiation. Brady. The Van Allen belt.
Look how long they lived. That's the thing. They went through the Van Allen.
I know, I love that.
They lived our bodies are amazing. Like, my husband...
But it just makes me laugh because the moon landing was fake conspiracy, which I love. It's a very great piece of fiction to read, the fake moon landing conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
But that's one of the biggest points. Like, how could we have sent people through the Van Allen belt?
Hello, we got people in the ISS right now. Yeah. Well, my thing is it's like, I'm more worried about people who have lived in space dying from osteoporosis than I am from radiation. We don't have... Yeah. Hey, someone needs to do that fake gravity thing, okay?
Or they just starve to death because the food sucks.
Oh, toothpaste food. Yeah. Well, and that's my thing, I guess I was talking about is, what are we going to do? How are we going to learn? We're learning by sacrifice. What is that? Yeah. How does that tie in with social media? What are we going to sacrifice? Are we sacrificing being able to live together and exist together in peace just to be able to communicate with each other? Like, how are we
I think unwillingly we are.
How are we going to learn? Is social media like an appeal to vanity? Because I actually quite love it, but I don't spend all my time on the phone either. And
I don't either. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Do we need to start a treatment center? Are there treatment centers for social media addiction? I haven't looked that up yet.
There needs to be.
Because I do know I have some friends that never stop. Like, there are people that are truly addicted.
It is a true addiction. Because again, if we're gonna demonize cigarettes, we should probably put a warning label on fucking social media, too.
Well, it's just it. When you pick one thing, I feel like that's powers that be just wanting a bigger market share somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because
that's not even a conspiracy.
Let's talk about alcohol. It causes more chaos.
I didn't want to bring up alcohol, but
it causes more chaos than anything.
Alcohol is horrible.
I saw someone lose their life the other day because of alcohol. The guy hit him and ran. And it's like, then all the family stuff, like there's domestic... just think about
I can't wait to do... We are going to do an episode on substance abuse for sure someday.
Well, yeah,
and I can't wait for that one because it's something that's affected my life directly growing up.
Oh,
I came from a family who... a lot of my family members were addicted to drugs. My biological mom and dad specifically had addiction problems with some pretty hardcore drugs. And I'll get into detail about that probably in that episode. But it's directly affected my life. But it's not just drugs. Especially not these, whatever Papa government decided that these specific drugs are bad for you. But again, why is sugar completely fine and we could... sorry, I don't mean to go back on that again, but Jesus Christ.
It's okay.
I think sugar is one of the worst substances on the planet, but it's fucking basically shoved in every child's face, and they're addicted for life until they decide to go through the grueling battle of kicking that habit.
Economically, it's incredible.
You know how that is.
It is not. Not everybody.
But when you were a kid, you saw these commercials for the fucking the goddamn Lucky. They have fucking mascots peddling children. I can't go sell a bag of weed on the corner, but I can make a commercial and peddle the worst drug on the planet to children.
I know.
That's fine.
Well, that's why you're
I'm sorry, Mars is a drug dealer.
That's why you're more libertarian-minded, because
I'm sorry, Pepsi's a drug dealer.
I don't want to ban anything myself.
I feel it's my responsibility, because I have a microphone in front of me, and I'm posting on the internet, my recording. But Pepsi's a fucking drug dealer. Mars is a fucking drug dealer. Who else?
Nestle.
Nestle's a fucking drug dealer.
We're not.
There's no other way to say it. Those are fucking drug dealers.
Well, and why are they treated any differently than the guy?
That's what I mean. Why is the dude on the corner peddling heroin any fucking worse than the goddamn a company that peddles sugar to children? At least fucking dude on the fucking corner ain't selling it to kids, or at least he probably feels bad if he did.
I don't know.
But it's completely fine to do that. But no, you can't smoke a little bit of weed.
Well, and I think that's like a huge problem in our society is there's no... Oh, I ran into that this week anyways. There's no continuity in the rules.
That's what
if you follow... We can do a whole episode on rules because if you want to hear me rant like Brady,
we have to, because we're running out of time we're running out of time on this glorious conversation.
It was pretty great, though.
I love this conversation.
Because it's
this is just as good as our AI discussion last week.
Well, it's just because...
If you guys haven't noticed a pattern... we've kind of broke the mold on the way our podcast operates. We didn't do this intentionally, but we sit down to record, and I get Audacity set up, and we get the microphone set up, and we start talking, And it just immediately like, oh, we should hit record because this is golden.
And then we do.
And I can already tell what we started talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, and I was like, we need to hit record. So we had a subject laid out again this week, and we were going to talk about something. I don't remember what it was now, stupidity, or I guess we kind of covered most of what we were going to rant about anyway.
We did. We just tangented a little bit. But you know what? I think a lot of it is it's more of a vent session, and that's another thing that's important is you got to get it out.
Yeah.
And not just typing like keyboard warrior. You need to get it out with another human.
Yes.
Like, and because Brady and I, we've, like I said, have the ability to talk with each other.
Make sure you do it on Zoom because you're not allowed to leave the house and interact with anybody.
Oh, that's right.
Because everyone's going to die if you do.
Okay. That's sorry.
I'm sorry.
No,
guys, this one might be a longer episode because I don't even want to end this conversation yet. This is glorious. Sorry about the train, by the way.
Yeah, well, we're not recording where we normally do because we have to watch children. And it's important.
Yeah, the last couple weeks we haven't had a normal schedule, so you're going to have to just bear with us on this one. But hey, you know what? Anybody at any time could just start recording and talk about stuff, okay? And that's what we're doing.
And life
we don't have to have we don't have to be in LA in this $1 million like recording studio to get our point across. And I hope you guys realize that we're doing our best to make it sound good and everything, but I just hope you guys take something from our conversations.
And what you have to say is valuable. Like Brady and I.
And if you want to get nitpicky and diss us for our audio quality, grow up. Come on.
Oh, I don't
just
care.
The whole point is like what we're actually saying and what we're trying to come across here.
Well, we want to keep the discussion going with humans. It's like we need to talk about things instead of rant at each other. Like it's kind of a little more ranty than normal, but there's a reason for that. It's like there's so much pressure and things going on right now, and Brady and I are not scripting any of this. We're just talking. And I think there needs to be a lot more of that in the world. I think we need to get together because now we're isolated from each other and we need to talk. It's important.
Again, that kind of, I'll loop back to what I was saying earlier. Social media is a freaking battleground, but I don't see that in real life. People still talk normally. We still can hold great conversations. I wish more people were susceptible to like taking in new information and forming a better opinion because of that new information. And that's still a problem in no matter if it's on social media or real life that a lot of people I've noticed have trouble with.
They do.
I don't know why that is, and I wish we could fix it. But you know what? It is what it is. But you can still respect each other regardless of your opinions.
Well, and that...
We can all, benefit from that sort of mentality.
And why are you afraid of... What offends you when someone does not 100% agree with you? I wish people would self-examine more.
That's an easy one to answer because people... people, attach their opinions to their identity.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're stomping on their face if you present any kind of data that contradicts that particular opinion. Because then you're insulting who they are.
Your opinions should be fluid based on the amount of data that you receive. And
should be, yes. I like that should be part.
Well, it should be because you know what? I want to learn my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, I've had a lot of moments in my life where I've had an opinion about something, and I was very stuck on that opinion. Okay. But somebody came along and presented a different opinion with data to support it. Okay, I still got that you get this
it's tearing apart your identity?
Yeah, well, you still get this feeling of it. I don't know if it was anxiety. I'm trying to think of the word for it. Like there's this you get this feeling in your gut when that happens. Okay, even if it's just a normal discussion about something stupid, but somebody has a different opinion in theirs, you get that fighter, almost like it's like a diet fight or flight mode.
Okay.
Because it's not full on like I'm gonna fucking kill you because you don't have the same opinion as me. But I had this you get this anxious
a gut
feeling.
Reaction?
Yeah, you get this anxious feeling because they're like, but that goes against everything I know. But it's like you can. I don't know why. Maybe I'm special, but I was always able to move past that.
Well, no,
you get through it. The chemicals go back to normal in your body eventually, and then you're like. But then you start to ponder. Okay, maybe you're onto something. I don't like being wrong, and maybe that's where that feeling comes from. Is that dread is a good way to put it. There's a dread that you're wrong.
Okay.
And now all of a sudden you have to reform an opinion. Oh my God, it's so hard. Oh my God, my neurons have to change. Whoop-de-doo.
Oh, pathway rewriting.
Yeah. It's not that complicated, but it seems to be some people can't get over that feeling. So when they get that little hit of fight or flight, they go into straight fucking fight mode. And they refuse to change their opinion because they have a little bit of adrenaline running through their body. Whoop-de-doo. Well, my God. I don't know what it is. It does frustrate me. But I have had that feeling when a different opinion comes up, so I know kind of what it feels like. So why can't people just get over it? It's not that hard.
Well, it sounds like you were training yourself because you identified that, hey, that's a feeling. You see, you're having some self-introspection there.
I've always been introspective.
And a lot of people...
That's why we have a podcast.
Well, this is true. But I think that's the problem is most people are so self-centered. A lot of people, I'm not going to say most, but are self-centered that like it tears apart the entire fabric of their identity if someone challenges something that they hold dear.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Again, it's the fundamentalism. That you were talking about earlier. I think a lot of people have that, whether they know it or not. It's just like ingrained in our... Tribalism is just a part of our DNA.
Well, and it is, but...
Because it used to be for survival.
But think
it makes sense back in a survival situation.
Yeah, fight or flight.
God, I wish there was a way to just rewrite our DNA. Like,
well,
can we get CRISPR on like a mass scale, I guess? I don't know. Well, I know that there's potential evil uses for CRISPR, but it seems like there's also a lot of good it can do.
Well, you're wanting to speed up something.
Can we just rewrite the entire human genome now already? Like, come on.
You're wanting to speed up something that takes a long time.
Flash forward 50 years and it's a fucking dystopian novel. But
and you're hitting on that. Maybe that's why we're having so much trouble right now is we're advancing. Our technology is advancing faster than we are evolving.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Because all of these things that we react, do, blah, 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 blah.
10 years ago, or maybe not 10, 20 years ago, we didn't have social media.
Yeah, we don't have this.
We had the coffee shop and the bar. That was our social media.
Well, yeah. And now you got Tinder. You know, like it's just...
Don't get me started on Tinder. That's a whole other rant.
That's a different one.
That's a whole other rant.
Oh.
Because that is something completely new. Speed dating might have been the closest thing to Tinder. I'm already going down the hill.
You're going down the hill. Let's divert.
Don't let me go down the hill.
Jump the tracks. We'll come back to that. We'll go back to sugar.
Technology definitely has evolved way faster than our genetics can evolve.
Yeah.
Like, I wish human evolution worked as fast as technological evolution.
There's no way.
Can we apply Moore's law to, like, brain power?
I don't think...
That would be nice.
Well, think about how much we've leapt forward just in the last century, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we have moved far. And really, when you think about what we've went through and done and leapt forward, we are doing kind of awesome. I mean, people always focus on the negative. There's positive things, too.
Oh, there's so much positive.
I get mad
You can't even have negativity without positivity to remind you why it's negative.
I get mad that people don't ever look at the positive, because sometimes I'm around people and all they do is neg. I know we've negged a lot of this. Well, that's why
we try to do a positive news article at the end of every episode, and we don't have a lot of time to go into detail on those articles. When we encourage you guys to really go and read those and
because we do,
and go down your own positivity rabbit hole. But it's just a little reminder that there is good in the world that happens every single day.
It doesn't matter that everybody
focusing on that.
You know, a good majority of people over 18 are lining up at Starbucks, but it's cool.
Quickly, I have to shout out to a YouTube channel called Mr. Beast. He is one of my heroes because he has this channel where he basically just freaking gives away, let's just say, millions of dollars, okay? He has an episode where he, like, gives a homeless person an entire house just because. Just because he wants to change the world.
That's my favorite kind of thing.
He just wants to change the world and see things through a positive aspect. He takes, like, random people and, like, takes them to a grocery store and says, fill up your fucking cart, I'll buy it for you. He ends up spending $100,000 on these people. But of course, he does some clickbaity stuff too, like, we're going to go out and buy the most expensive food products that are known to man so we can try them and compare them to the cheapest version of that food.
But if you could do that...
yeah, YouTube culture, that's what it is. And it's entertaining. But he also does amazing things, like he was the one responsible for the plant all those trees movement. I can't remember what the hell the hashtag was.
I remember that plant a tree, yeah.
I can't remember the hashtag,
that was last year. I can't remember that far back.
God, why can't we go back to then? I'm having nostalgia now for that.
For 12 months ago?
That was one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in my life. Hey, the environment is important. Every dollar you donate to that charity, they were planting a tree.
But see, he didn't pass a rule. He just did something, and I feel like that's important.
But the virality of that was one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. You know how many people donated?
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk donated $1 million to that one charity because...
of trees.
Because he can.
Well, and how about last year? There was the pick up garbage thing.
Yeah, everybody who donated even $1 to that would have donated $1 million if they could.
Well,
so my point is, there's still a lot of good out there.
$1 when you have $1 is more than if you have 100 million.
Exactly.
No, there's a parable about that. Well, I feel like that's an important thing to talk about too. We can change things if we just start doing it instead of bitching about it.
That's my point. Yeah, we can all do good.
And it's like I try so hard to do good.
We can flip this paradigm on its head.
Yeah, like the COVID thing.
We can flip it on its head.
We can take care of it.
Let's flip Black Lives Matter over on its head. Let's flip the human trafficking over on its head. Because we have the power to do it. We don't have to rely on this bureaucracy.
No.
Now, I'm not encouraging people to go John Wick on the pedophiles like it seems like that's what's about to happen. But I am encouraging, like, we can actually leave our freaking home and do things the right way. We don't have to rely on Papa Government to file paperwork to make it happen.
Well, or instead of spending 45 minutes on your next selfie post on Instagram, you take 10 minutes and do it, and then take the other 30 minutes and go help with
my point is, let's use social media as the tool it was intended. Let's get together as a group of like-minded individuals who just want to see positive change. Let's use the social media to discuss that change and what we want to see and how we're going to do it and make a fucking plan, and let's get it done.
And you don't even know
instead of arguing about it. Okay, Black Lives Matter. Everybody wants to argue about it on social media because one person, all lives matter, blah, 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 blah. How about we just get together and say, here's what's going on. Here are the facts. Here's what we see. Yeah. Here's how we feel about it, why we feel that way about it. But more importantly, what can we do to change that? Instead of going, Trump this and Biden that and blah, 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 blah. No, stop. Talk about what can each individual do, not what can the fucking left do, not what can the fucking right do, not what can Trump do, what can Biden do, what can Russia do. I don't give a shit. Nobody cares what they can do. Let's talk about what each of us as individuals can do.
Together.
As personally, because that's all we really have. We aren't a group.
No.
We don't operate as a hive mind. It seems that way, but we each have our own abilities to make change. Well, but if everybody wanted to make the same change, then it happens. That's what's happened throughout human history.
And quit parroting sound bites and hashtags.
Yeah,
and
don't listen to the goddamn news. Everybody just turn the fucking CNN off. And turn the Fox News off. Don't listen to them.
And work on specifics. Yeah. Like, instead of, it's
they
so
don't have
easy
your
to complain.
Interest. The news does not have your fucking interest at heart. They have a pocketbook to fill. They have to make their numbers. That's all they're caring about. Don't listen to them. That's not the news anymore.
And the train
Look at, with your own fucking eyes and your own fucking ears, what's happening in reality. And figure out what you can do about it.
Figure it out.
That's what really needs to happen, because that's what I do.
Well,
I just wish there was more people I could interact with that have the same operating, like, mode.
But I think they're out there.
And we can make real change. I can't make real change on my own, but I try my best.
Well, but you can if you join with others that are like-minded.
That's what I mean, but we need to be able to form those groups of like-minded people to make change. Not in a fucking violent way. Let's not go burn down a Target. That's not going to solve a goddamn problem.
No.
For whatever reason, the outrage that you see, the battlefield that you see on social media spilled out into reality, and all of a sudden we have these fucking riots everywhere right now going on. People are burning down buildings of people who are innocent, and there's all this chaos going on. Stop the fucking chaos. Let's get together peacefully. Give each other a hug. Hey, how you doing? Awesome. We're all humans. We're all on the same fucking rock floating through infinity. Okay? First, let's realize that. Then let's make the change.
But Brady,
without burning down buildings and fucking shooting each other and breaking stuff.
Or killing each other.
We don't need to break stuff.
How are you...
It feels good to break stuff, but... Okay.
Let's start a business.
Go buy a glass bottle and throw it on the ground. Get it out of your system. Okay?
Get the dustpan and sweep it
up.
Don't
hurt your neighbors.
Don't litter.
Yeah, don't hurt your neighbors. It doesn't need to be like that.
Well, and that's the problem, is I feel like the divisiveness...
Even if your neighbors are different... Even if you have we have fucking KKK members that live in this town that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
It's a very small town. I could walk to their house in 2 seconds. Or 2 minutes, sorry. And... I still just want to give them a hug.
Well, because
they just need a hug.
Our positive news story a couple weeks ago was that one man changed, 200 members?
Yeah.
By being cool. I think it takes more work to be cool.
And I got pissed. I saw the news demonizing that man.
Are you
recently
serious?
On some headlines? Of course. Like I said, turn the fucking news off, everybody. They don't care about you.
No.
They just want your money. They want your eyeballs. They want those precious minutes of your fucking day that's already stretched thin. That's all they fucking want. And I'm sorry. I have to say it. I have to go on this rant.
It's okay. Rants are good.
Fox News needs to die. CNN needs to die. Every fucking news channel on the television needs to go away. We don't need them anymore. That's not the model that works anymore. It's never been good anyway. It's a propaganda machine. It always has been. It always will be. Since the dawn of fucking radio, it's been just nothing but propaganda. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fucking fact. You can call me out all you want on that. Go ahead, prove me wrong. I encourage you. Someone prove me wrong that that's not just a fucking propaganda machine to sway your way of thinking one way or the other to either buy something or fucking vote.
And what kills me is
I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
It could all go away if you just turn it off.
Turn it the fuck off. Don't even listen to me. Turn me off right now. And go out and make some fucking change. Make your own opinions based on fucking the reality that comes into what we were talking about last week, that comes into your eyeballs and your ears and your nerve endings and your tongue and your nose. That's what's important. Because that is the tools you were given to perceive this reality. So fucking use them. Use that brain of yours that's in your head to process those fucking vibrations coming into those sensors. And don't hurt your neighbors in the process. Have some compassion is what we need right now.
Well, and if you could see Brady's hair right now, you would know.
I look like the ancient aliens guy.
You would know that he is very passionate about this particular topic because it looks super, super, super special.
I just hate
super extra.
I just hate the propaganda machine because I see right through it. It's gross.
I hate that people are hurting.
I always have.
Because other people are manipulating them, and especially when you can just turn it off.
The reason that I can see through the propaganda machine is because I was about 11 years old when 9/11 happened, okay?
Oh, Lord.
I didn't even understand what the fuck was going on around the world. I just knew some airplanes hit a building. But all the adults around me at the time just sucked into this fucking TV screen with these goddamn fucking heads talking all the time
and they just
about it. For hours.
Just kill people.
For days and days and days and days, everybody was on the news.
Yeah.
Like a fucking drug.
Yeah, it was
bad. Like it was our goddamn lifeline. Oh my god, what are they gonna do? Oh my god, fucking weapons of mass destruction and chaos. Ah, the world's ending. But for whatever reason, all everybody wanted to do was watch these fucking heads. They're no different than you and I, okay? They showed up for work that day in their fancy fucking suit. They did their fucking makeup. And they got this piece of paper from their boss. And that piece of paper said, read this headline to the people. This is what you need to talk about. And every fucking news channel was saying the same thing.
Well,
this was before the divisiveness even really started. So every news channel was on the same page, for God's sakes, about this one thing. I don't know how that happened. That was like the one time in history where the news agreed. They weren't trying to push a political agenda that was divisive. They were trying to push a war. And that's what I saw, was they were trying to sell this fucking war. Instead of trying to get us to work together to solve the issues. I'm sorry, those terrorists are also our neighbors. And they needed a fucking hug. And we could have worked it out. But no, they had to sell this fucking war. And bombs were dropped and people died. And I saw that as a child and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in the world? Why does it have to be like this?
Well,
I was a kid and I saw the world want to kill each other over something. I'm like, why did that have to happen in the first place? What brought us to this point where now we're fucking dropping bombs out of a remote control airplane on innocent people? Well, we had one guy with an AK-47 held up in a hospital, and Obama decided it was a good idea to fucking use a remote control airplane to drop a goddamn bomb on this hospital, and it was okay to kill these innocent people because that one fucking bad guy was inside.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I'm not okay.
I'm sorry. It really bugs me that this is the way the world is nowadays, and we all fucking suck on the tit of the news. Turn it off! They're trying to sell us stuff. They're trying to sell us soap. They're trying to sell us pills. And they're trying to sell us a fucking idea, which is, you should vote for Trump because of this. You should hate Trump because, most of it, you should hate Trump because of that. I'm sick of it. It's so annoying. And it causes all this noise and distracts us from loving each other. Being neighbors. We're all on the same rock. I don't agree with everything Kim Jong-un is doing over there in fucking La La Land, North Korea. But shouldn't we, have compassion for the people that are stuck in that paradigm and try to, work out a way to, I think we're, beyond negotiations with the crazy psychopath who is the dictator of that place. Fucking shoot him in the head, and let's give these fuckers that are stuck in that paradigm a hug and try to work out a way to get them out of there. And that's just one small example. It's one rock we're floating on, you guys. We're all fucking neighbors. And I'm sorry, I have to say it. We need to be more compassionate towards each other. Yeah. I just have never understood why these problems exist in the world. I don't understand why the logical approach is never taken. Someone help me here. Someone help me figure out why we take these irrational responses to literally everything, every problem that we face.
Well, most faith traditions believe it's because of our fallen nature.
Possibly.
But that doesn't explain... The part that I guess I don't understand, Brady,
sorry, am I just a hippie here? Is that what it is?
No, your hair is great. But I think it's something valid to be mad about. I guess I'm a little further on the timeline than you are. So
Possibly.
I used to be very idealistic, especially, because I'm 9 years older than you. Now, though, I am tired by the world, and I realize that there's so much selfishness, and the vast majority of people that are in charge, not all of them, some public servants actually care, but the vast majority...
That's true, yes.
There are, and they need... But you know what? Those are the ones that are picked on the most. The vast majority, though, are there for what's in it for them. And until we, as a species, shift that thinking, that paradigm into what's in it for other people based on what I can do, we're screwed. And the only way we can do that is each one of us decides to. I don't want any government telling me how I have to be. I want to get up in the morning and be like, today, I'm going to pick up that garbage there because some douche nozzle threw garbage on the side of the road. And if enough of us, and then if someone sees me doing it, hey, that's cool, that looks nice, and eventually change will happen that way.
Yeah.
Because any other way, coercion, that's what the news is trying to do to you, is they just want to sell you something, and if you're scared, you will buy more things.
It's a fucking advertising ploy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But just turn it off.
It's a shut the fucking news off, people.
I think that might be the point of this entire podcast, is to turn off the noise and make up your own mind. Yeah. Spend some time with yourself. What matters to you? Turn off the noise, and it's like, hey, little puppies and, people that overbred pit bulls, and there's all these dogs, I want to rehome them. Or say there's old people living in isolation because of COVID right now, I want to film little messages and send them to them. There's things you can do like that.
Here's what you can do. Instead of getting on Twitter and getting on Facebook and having all these arguments and turn off everything that's going on in the world, just put on some stand-up comedy. Laugh.
Yeah, laughing is important.
It's a fucking powerful thing to do.
Laughing is important.
It really helps you release tension. And I'm going to do that probably after this podcast is done recording, because I got myself all riled up about this shit. And so when we're all done here, I'm going to turn on some stand-up comedy probably and just laugh, because it helps. But it pulls you out of the noise, and it puts you into a different state. I think we need escapism a little bit more than normal nowadays. At this point,
because
what I see.
Yeah, well, you have to like in the old days before you having your augmentation, you weren't infused into the stream like you are now.
Right.
And now you have to consciously take yourself out of it, which is in your case is laughter or music or things that resettle your brain, because you are on a higher wavelength right now. We're gonna put.
I'm sorry. Just drives me nuts. The whole world is just crazy right now.
I live with some epic ranters. You don't even.
I'm not even trying to say like I'm a saint or anything like that. That's not my point. My point is like
you see we
just need to stop perpetuating the machine that's on right now.
Well, and that's what
turn the fucking machine off, so then we can all move on and have a good life.
And that's the part that's always frustrated me my whole life, is I've never understood why people can't just see it and then change it. I've never understood it. I don't know why you can't just...
Because maybe the Illuminati's plan worked and everybody's fucking retarded now.
Those lizard people.
Sorry about the R word. But the definition of retarded, I'm using it literally here. Okay?
He's not...
I'm not trying to disparage disabled people.
Lizard
But basically, my point is, maybe it worked. Maybe there is an Illuminati. And their plan of dumbing down the masses and getting them sucked into this fucking advertising machine worked.
It's got
and it doesn't work on everybody. Maybe I'm one of those people it doesn't work on, and that's why I'm just like going crazy like that guy on that fucking The Network.
It's got what.
Have you ever seen that movie or read that book?
Oh yeah, well,
that's how I feel like right now. I'm like that guy.
I'm just thinking of Idiocracy.
They're trying to control you, everybody. Run!
Well, and you're trying to get the message out there.
Maybe I've watched too much Black Mirror. I don't fucking know.
No, they're just going to marginalize you. They'll use this episode to make you look crazy. It'll be fun.
I hope they do. I want to be that martyr. I'll be a martyr.
It'll be great.
Alex Jones is, and he's not even like, he's pretty crazy.
But in a fun way.
And I'm sorry to say, Alex Jones has been right about a great many things, and that's what's scary.
Really?
When you got a fucking conspiracy theorist who's correct about a lot of things, you should probably look into that a little bit. Just a little bit. Well, yeah, he's crazy, and he's wrong about stuff, and he's a character, but like...
That broken clock has been right more than it's wrong.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the broken clock is right 2 times a day.
But I've never met Alex Jones.
I hope I'm a broken clock. Because I would love to just... I would love to know that I'm just delusional and everything's fine. But I have a feeling I'm not.
No, there's too much unrest for us to be delusional, Brady.
I have a feeling I'm the one that's not delusional. And that's what... I think that's what just drives me insane.
Really? Well, because you feel like you're walking through something and no one can hear you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I do. I know that everybody's malcontent, but they're talking about the same things everybody on these things are talking about instead of talking about actual tangible. That's the thing I guess makes me the most mad out of all of life right now is nobody talks about specific ways to fix things that bother them. They just want to bitch about the stuff that's
Especially
bad.
these people who we're supposed to rely on as leaders.
Oh, they don't.
I think they all need to go and look at what the fuck a leader is supposed to do. Because they're not doing it.
I don't think they want to fix it.
Not any of them. I can't even take a single side on this because none of them are right. They're all sitting there focused on their fucking career, which is to get votes.
And power.
They're not trying to actually fix anything. They're trying to use an idea of fixing things to get fucking votes because that's their job.
Well, then you get that.
A politician
that
shouldn't be a
sweet
job.
Money once you. Well,
They should be focused on, like, there was plenty of candidates who were legitimately focused on changing things. Like, I'm sorry, hate him or not, Bernie Sanders was one of those people, whether you like him or not.
Mr.
I don't even agree with everything he had to say, but he was trying to make change, and that's what he was trying to do.
Or no,
And another one, Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang was interesting.
Oh my God, that man really did just want to make change, but everybody demonized him because he's trying to give away money. He's trying to help people.
Maybe
I don't agree with socialism, and but like at the same time, like especially now, everybody could have used that $1,000 a month. I don't care where he was pulling that fucking money out of.
But the thing is he was ostracized and marginalized just because he had some new idea.
Yeah,
it's like
God forbid we have a new idea.
The same
but no,
ideas have not been working.
These fucking geriatric assholes want to perpetuate an ancient machine.
Well, that's part of the problem.
I'm sounding crazy right now. I'm sorry. I hope I do sound crazy.
You kind of have an Alex Jones yelling thing going on. It's
Well,
kind
like really, like why are we continuing the madness of elections and presidents? It doesn't work anymore.
Well,
Get rid of the old and let the new in.
That's my thing with school systems. We are adapting and advancing and making new discoveries. Why do we do the same thing? Like,
why
I love
doesn't
politics.
schools change?
Why can't politics change? Because, and it's gotten more ugly instead of less. I don't know.
Can we fix it?
Or raising $350 million, and that's some sort of big achievement when people are hurting. I'm all, you're going to blow all that money.
Who raised $350 million?
Oh, Biden did.
Biden did?
I just read that. Yeah, like
wonderful, and not a dime of that fucking money is going to change anything for the better.
It's going to go to
It's going to go to running a campaign, which makes no sense.
in Facebook ads.
How many people could use some of that money for a good benefit of their life?
That's why I laugh when they say
How many people are hurting right now or starving? How many people lost their fucking job because of COVID? And that asshole's just using it to fly on a fucking plane! I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's okay.
Some of that money's going to flying on a fucking airplane to go to...
Campaign events.
We're sitting in a living room with a microphone. All of what we're doing right now, with aside from a $40 microphone, is fucking free.
Yeah.
And it can reach the entire world. And that asshole's spending millions of dollars flying around on a fucking plane to fucking ramble on all this craziness about nothing. And that money can go to good things.
And he can't even go to events with
This
people.
This is why it doesn't make sense to me, because how much money is spent on these political campaigns? Not a dime of that money goes to the change they're promising.
But people are
It goes to driving around the country and putting on these shows that when I could do it for free on fucking YouTube. I have a phone. Everybody has a fucking phone in their pocket, and they can pull it out and point the camera at themselves, and it reaches the entire fucking world in minutes.
Yeah.
But these millions of dollars are going to nothing. You might as well burn the fucking money.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
But how many people are hurting and need some money? And these fucking assholes are these old the really old fucking men who have no business doing anything right now but retiring. Go play some fucking golf, Biden. Let some young, fresh people with energy come in there and make actual change.
Oh, unless you think we're ageist. It has nothing to do with ageism.
I could be ageist.
Well...
But I just don't see them making any change. They're burning money, essentially.
I'm old and he's been in government longer than I have.
But I'm trying to point out how the system is broken.
Well, the money thing makes me mad because I feel like that money, like you said, in this time in history, you don't need to have campaign events. You could just do it all from your phone in your little house.
Mm-hmm.
COVID
and we've proven that.
COVID proved it. And then that money...
One great thing that came from COVID is this idea of decentralization. Like, you don't have to be in a place to do something.
Nope. Your message should be so profound that it doesn't matter if you're there or not.
How many people are now working from home and getting the same job done, if not more efficiently?
And less
with more
stress.
productivity. And you're at home and you get to enjoy your life a little bit because you can turn on some tunes in the background and work.
And then just go have your teams meeting later.
That's one good thing that's coming from this COVID thing is like this idea that like
Not
you don't
having to
have
go
to.
to work sick.
A lot of people are essentially slaves to an hourly wage.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm starting to sound crazy, but a lot of people are tied to like this workplace. Okay, when they don't even have to be there. And I've been there. I've worked at call centers before, and it never made sense to me why the fuck I had to be in this office building. This entire like environment of just dread. And oh God, I don't want to be here. Every single person there didn't want to be there.
No.
They wanted to be at home. And they could have done that job from home.
Yep.
Everybody's a fucking phone.
Yep.
And I shouldn't have had to put on this monkey suit to work. Like, we got yelled at for wearing the wrong kind of shoes on the phone. The customers won't see us. You know who it was to please? Is these fucking administrative assholes who come and look at the office building to make sure the operations are working fine. And they cared what fucking shoes we were wearing. Why does that make sense? It just seems like a waste of energy. And my point is, there's a lot of these wastes of energy out there.
Oh, yeah.
How many times have you been in a meeting at work? What's the fucking point? You could have sent an email. Meeting done. You didn't have to waste that time.
Oh, don't get me started about arbitrary meetings.
I talk about this to my wife. My wife is an administrative person in a library. And she bitches about all these meetings all the time. And I'm like, why the fuck are you even going to a meeting about something that can be settled in a 2-paragraph email?
Because people like to feel important, Brady.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of
this. I think what it was, there's a lot of this pageantry going on in the world in a lot of different niches, and it could be avoided, but it's a waste of resources, much like these political campaigns they're running that make no change at all. How many presidents have we gone through? In my lifetime, it's been 4, and not a fucking single thing has changed.
Well, some of it's worse.
But these millions of dollars have been spent on supposed change, but nothing's fucking changed other than now the government's allowed to spy on you legally. It's about the only thing I saw that changed.
Well...
And I had no fucking say. Nobody had a say in it.
I hate waste, and I feel like the waste... You know, you're basically buying your way in control. Because that's where most of the money comes from with these big politicians, is they're getting you're buying control. Yeah. And the problem is if you have numbers, that control means nothing.
But why do we have to control people? Why is there even that little bit of an aspect of it?
Money. Power.
Why is there
We're really no different. Go back and watch
Why do we need an alpha chimp?
I don't know.
It's never gone well. Having an alpha chimp.
I know. It always ends badly because the alpha chimp will get killed and another one will take its place, which is kind of, or it'll eat the husky. So
it's just never made sense to me. Not a single once in my life has the current system made sense to me. Well, it might have made sense in the fucking 1776, but it doesn't fucking make sense now.
Nothing we have now is even close to how it was then.
And I might be repeating a little bit. It's not because I just listened to the Joe Rogan podcast, but they did talk about a lot of this on there. They pretty much covered everything. No matter what we say, it's going to be covered by Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast out there. So I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm parroting. But like they talked about on this episode recently with Duncan Trussell that like the document we base our entire system on was written with a fucking quill and ink or charcoal or whatever. It's old. If we touch it, it'll fall apart because it's so fucking old. What?
It was designed to be modified.
And we're still doing the same fucking thing, driving the same system. It's like we're in a fucking jalopy, okay? We're in the first car ever fucking built. And we're driving it, and it's falling apart. It doesn't make any sense. It has no safety features whatsoever. And what we've done is like, we fucking put a duct tape seatbelt in, okay? We got one safety feature. We got a duct tape seatbelt. And we put glued some cushions on the steering wheel in case we get in a crash.
Fake airbag.
Yeah. But the thing isn't supposed to be on the road anymore. Let's fucking get a Tesla.
Well, the Constitution was designed to be amended. When was the last time we did that?
Yeah. I don't know. When was the last time we did that?
Probably.
Was it the women's rights or the black people's rights?
I think it was the 28th or the 30th?
I could be right. I don't even know. Like, it could have been some other stuff that happened after that. I've only been alive for 30 years, okay?
My point being is that the thing is it was supposed to have amendments as we came to new things.
Yeah.
Okay, the right to have freedom of speech and all those things, those are eternal. Yeah. They are not granted to us by government. They're supposed to be protected by government. Yeah. But the other stuff, like, look how long it took us to get women's right to vote. Our country had been around 100 and some years before then. And so that's a long time, 1919, because it's just...
It's amazing we even have the right to vote anymore at all, anybody at all, at this fucking point.
Well,
half the shit they do, we don't get a say about anyway. So it's like, why does it be a dictatorship anymore? Jesus Christ!
We're at the 30th.
We pretty much are. We're in this like oligarchy or monarchy or something, and that's what the way it seems. But they're painting a nice, pretty picture of democracy over it.
Well,
when really it's a corporate oligarchy.
Well, but it doesn't have to be that way. We choose to. That's the thing.
We let it happen. Yeah, that's what Not me, because it all happened before I was able to vote. Before I ever had a say in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sit here and blame the boomers, but Jesus Christ.
Well,
they let it happen. I didn't. I was born into it. I'm sorry. And I'm trying to use my voting power to make change, because that's all I can do is go to the ballot. Why is that all we can do? That's why it's broken. Why is that all we can do? Is fill in a fucking bubble on a little piece of paper. Or however the fucking... Some people do it with these little digital machines or whatever. Why is that the only change we can make?
I feel like
the system doesn't make sense.
Lots of change, but right now the people that are... the powers that be have figured out if you keep everybody pissed at each other, they will get nothing done. That is why the anger is so
I'm not pissed at people right now. I'm pissed at the fucking structure.
Yeah, but the people...
This ancient... We're on a laptop that hasn't been updated in 100 fucking years. Okay? Should probably run those Windows 10 updates. All right? They're there for a reason.
Well, and that's just it. I don't know how we're going to fix it.
I've gone way off the rails here, guys. I'm sorry.
Why are you sorry?
I'm very passionate about these issues because, like, nothing just makes sense anymore. Does anybody think anything makes sense anymore? Am I crazy?
I think that there's a lot of anger coming out, and I wonder if it's always been there or if I just wonder.
I can't be the only one angry.
Well, no, I'm getting more irritated, and a lot of it is because of the irrational behavior.
Yeah.
And I also feel like that people are letting themselves be played by the media instead of working together. Mm-hmm. And that's things... That's what it is. Those things irritate me. Turn off the fucking
news. I'm going to say it again. Turn off the news. They're controlling you.
I'm willing...
It is not a conspiracy theory.
I'm willing to bend to work with people. There are certain things I won't bend on, like firearms. I will not bend on that. But I'll bend on a lot of things. Like, I don't have to carry it in the hospital. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
And that's called bending. And I feel like everybody's getting so rigid in their thought processes, they're not willing to bend and work together at all. And then the others are using them to kind of keep everything divided. So what's going on behind the scenes? Do you ever think about that? Because there's a lot
You have to think about
There's a lot of money out there, Brady, now that's just floating around.
Let's take this back to the Cold War, okay?
Oh, okay.
How much shady fucking shit were the governments of the world doing in the background nobody even knew about until after the fact, okay? MK Ultra is one of the examples. There's all sorts of these examples in the Cold War of all this espionage and sneaking around. It's some fucking Game of Thrones on crack shit that was going on just, 40 years ago?
And if you questioned it, you were a communist.
Yeah. It was some fucking weird shit that the world governments were doing behind our backs.
What are they doing now?
Literally in secret. We didn't know about it until recently when the documents were declassified. And still people were like, I can't believe that.
I can.
How has that not evolved now? You don't think they're doing that now?
I don't know.
Can anybody prove that they're not doing that now? And then we get these little peaks that rise above the shroud, like Edward Snowden. And stuff like that.
Well,
where it's like, people want to deny it. Why do we want to deny it? It's happening. It's always happened since the dawn of having a government. Or having a fucking alpha chimp. There's always these backstab. Look at fucking 15th century. These kings are going behind each other's backs and murdered a wife over here and a fucking child over here. And they're planting these seeds over here so that a war started so that they could take over this fucking piece of land over here. It's fucking insane. And it happens, and it trickles down to the people, and they have no control over it. But it's all about these alpha elite people who they get to make these they get to do all these things to make these changes and control everybody and have this. Just because I don't even know what the hell the fucking point is, because are they just playing the game because it's there?
Well,
or is there a point to it? Is it just power? I don't know. But
global chess match?
It's been happening since the dawn of fucking time, and you can't tell me it's not happening now. This Game of Thrones shit in the background with the shadow government that we don't even see. It's not a fucking conspiracy theory because it's been happening forever. How can it be a conspiracy theory when it's right in front of our fucking faces?
I don't know.
Okay, it's not a theory anymore. There's literally a conspiracy. I don't know what it is. But you can't tell me it's not happening because it's always happened. It's not like all of a sudden everything's pure and golden and the government would never do that. No.
Oh, anytime anybody says the government would never do that, I'm like, have you not cracked a book?
There's no way. They're still doing it behind our backs in the secrecy. they're making all these moves like a big fucking game of 4D chess.
Yeah, but now
and it's probably the same game of chess that was started at the beginning of time.
Oh, it is. And it's just now we get to see it all in real time instead of overtime. And because anybody that tries to make a difference and gets some traction, they demonize. Because all humans have something that they've done that can be perceived as bad.
Exactly.
We're not all Mr. Rogers. And even him,
no.
They probably can do... They could pull something from his past, twist it, package it, and start a rumor. And then he would be marginalized too. And that's what you guys all let him do is... Them, let's just say them, let them do it, is you'll be like, someone will start getting traction. Someone's got this cool new idea. Someone's going to try something awesome. And then they're like, oh, that guy did this and this year, and you should, and then they just build it on social media, and they build it on them, and that person's marginalized.
In fact, again, what you're saying earlier, social media is an amazing tool, and we can use it for a lot of good, especially because the collective consciousness wants to make positive change normally. And I believe that in my heart. We all do want positive change, okay? But it's been fucking hijacked by the same people who want to do... They've been using the radio, the news, the newspaper. Okay, hang on. Sorry, we got kids to deal with. I should probably end this here, but but my point is really quickly, if I can get this out, social media has been hijacked just like any form of media, where any form of information stream, it gets hijacked by these people who want to change your mind. It's just the same thing as Facebook and Twitter. You got you got individuals using it to just post fucking memes and cat pictures. Cool, awesome.
We like memes.
That's what it's intended for.
Yeah.
Okay? Post your fucking dinners. Hashtag yummy. Whatever. Okay? But then it's also hijacked by these companies who want to sell you stuff, by these governments that want to fucking make you vote for this and that. Literally, there's people that sit there and they're working for a political candidate, and they're supposed to get on social media and change your mind through whatever means necessary, through tweets and posts. Russia does it. They have these thousands of people sitting in a fucking room with computers, and they make these memes that appeal to the American people on one side or the other of the political spectrum, because that's what they're being paid to do.
So basically you're saying, make up your own mind. Don't let others manipulate you through data and media.
Stop letting it happen. If you know that that's what's going on, then you can at least ignore the ones that are doing that and just look at the cat pictures. Well, trust me, just look at the cat pictures.
They'll make you feel... And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out and look at some things that can help you detox a little bit, and I'll post them in the show notes. Because stuff that we do, and maybe you guys could tell us stuff that you do that helps you, because obviously, look how irritated
get in the
it's
comment
made him.
section
It's like, it drove him insane. So, like, what do you do that helps you? I think exploding and detoxing and raging, because they say screaming in pillows is good for you.
Yeah.
You know, screaming is good for you. Yeah. I know cops that go cry. It's good for them.
Well, there was those studies where they had people put their hands in like a super cold ice water.
Yes.
And one person would scream profanities and the other person would not. And the person who was screaming profanities seemed to be able to take the pain longer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, what do you guys do to help you cope with this? Because it's something all humans have had to cope through throughout history. I just think it's more amplified now because of the noise level that we have, you know, and by noise level, I mean constant assault.
And we're part of that noise level right now, guys. We're technically contributing to that. But
we're asking you to think and make up your own mind instead of telling you what you need to think. And I think that's different.
At least we're part of the noise that we're not trying to fucking sell you anything. I'm just trying to let you guys know, like, the world's crazy right now, and here's how I feel about it. But I'm not trying to get you to vote for someone or vote.
We're not trying to get you to buy a product.
I'm not trying to get you to fucking buy your kid a Snickers bar, because I already went off on that tangent.
No, we want to discuss with other humans so that maybe we can find a way out of this or be a little bit better about it instead of just... I hate it when people complain. Yeah. No more complaining. Let's actually... We're complaining in this podcast, but it's complaining for a purpose. And so I'm going to talk about what... I'm going to write in my show notes what I actually do to make myself have a little bit of mental health. And
get in our comment section, please. And if you're not watching on YouTube, because, by the way, everybody, quick plug, we're on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, and... I don't know if we've gone through on Google Podcasts yet. We'll get back to you on the Google Podcast.
And Amazon.
But if you're not watching on YouTube, go on one of our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Get on there. I know I've been raging against social media right now, but again, use it as the tool it is. Get on one of our social media sites or our comment section on YouTube.
Talk to us. We'll talk to you.
And talk to us. Let's talk about this. Let's solve some problems.
Yeah, I want to hear your guys' solutions.
Let's get some opinions from you guys and be respectful to each other, obviously. But if you guys have different opinions on certain things, talk about them. Let's practice. Let's use social media. Let's use our specific platform here, the show, to just try to practice talking to each other in a productive way.
Even if we don't agree.
If you don't agree, let's talk.
That's a big thing to me, yeah. We'll be respectful to you.
Yeah. If you guys are local in any way at all, get together and have some coffee and talk. Not like nice people.
I will bring a cake.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
And on that note, we're just going to end because if not, I can literally go all day. So thank you guys for listening and have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. As you know, we like to end every episode off on a positive news story, and I think after this one, it was definitely needed.
You know, we ranted a lot about social media, but this week's article proves that we also believe in the power of it to do good, and it's teens using social media for good deeds, and there's 11 separate stories in this article about teens doing awesome things with social media. Check it out.
Thanks again. Make sure you drop a like and a subscribe and hit that bell icon if you're on YouTube. Also, now you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Podbeam, and soon to be others. Links are in the description. Make sure you leave some comments every once in a while. Have a good day.